what's up, my chatterboxes? If you guys haven't done so already, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Please share my videos. It will help me out tremendously. I really would appreciate it. Without further ado, let's just get right into this recap of Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 1, Episode 4, The Prince. Now, I'm just going to do an overview. I'm not going to take a scene by scene like how I usually do, because these power reviews are pretty long, and I'm not getting the return back on my videos because it's showing in my views. So I'm not going to put that much, I'm not going to say I don't want to put that much effort into it, but I'm not going to take up too much of my day when it's not reaching, the audience that I'm intending it to reach. So we just going to do like I'm going to try to do like just a recap. So, Tariq, he's in business with the Tejadas. Monet has agreed to work with him, but not without her, keeping her eyes on him. So Tariq, Monet, she give him, a couple instructions, like number one, always pay the amount that we discussed. Never come up short, and always be on time. So Tariq, when it comes to planning and executing, Tariq is pretty good at it. But sometimes, since he's still a child, he can't. It's always some stuff that come up in the midst with it. So I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop when it comes to him. So he's meeting up with Stern, which he think is, Stern that we all know. But apparently I didn't know that Stern was gay. He just got married to this old young little thing called Sebastian. So Tariq and Sebastian cooked up some stuff off the books where Stern won't even know anything about it. And that's how they're going to be doing. That's how they're going to be running the drugs through the school, because Sebastian, Stern husband, he know how to do some like code and all that old stuff. So they're going to make it where it's like an ad. They're going to disguise it on like a tutoring app, but it's really, a drug ring. Basically, like if you want, like, say Percocets, you'll act like you want to tutor in algebra, and so on, something like that. So that is kind of a brilliant idea. I mean, I wonder if this really happening on, in schools. Probably not, but that's a real good idea, and there's no trace, because, well, I guess the trace would be whoever is doing the drops, because I'm like, it really wouldn't be no trace if no one ever see the dealer, but I guess it's whoever doing the drops. So we see Professor Reynolds, he's teaching the canonical studies class, and that internship is about to be available, whereas though the kids that once they complete this internship or whatever, they'll be able to graduate college a year earlier. Now, some of the kids in the classroom, students in the classroom was like, well, who would want to graduate, college earlier? Somebody that got some shit to do. Everybody don't want to be in college the whole 4 years. And so Tariq learns that Lauren actually has a boyfriend in D.C. because, he been checking for her and Diana. And I'm not sure if he really want Diana because of the connection she have, or do he actually like her? But I know he actually likes Lauren because he has nothing to gain from Lauren. He just attracted to her. So after the class was being dismissed, Lauren, she wanted to talk to Professor Reynolds and invite him. She invited him out actually to dinner. And the way he was giving off the energy is that he thought that, because he was like on campus or off campus, and she was like, no, at my parents' house. So then it's like he got stuck on stupid, because he just fucked his grad student. And I'm like, is he really that much of a sex addict that he's going to try to sleep with his student and ruin his whole, teaching career? Like, come on, you got to wrap that shit up. Come on, if you a womanizer like that, this profession ain't what for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to fuck your whole life up, professor. So the other professor, the sex the sex addict professor, she's getting annoyed by him because she already heard him having sex with the grad student when she went in her office. Now she see him flirting with Lauren, but Lauren shut that shit down a little bit. Listen, because she, like I said, she invited him to his dad house, so he was like, "Well, I guess you can invite." So now the other professor is getting invited. Her name escaped me. I'm sorry. He invited her, and he was like, "Well, maybe another student just for optics." So that's when Tariq stuck his 2 cents in it and was like, well, he'll be willing to go, for optics purposes. But you already know he trying to get that internship so he can get out of college a year earlier, because that's his whole goal, to get in, get out. When I tell y'all, like I said, I don't really think Woody all that attractive to me, but for some reason in this role, he's sexier than a mug. I ain't gonna lie. And he bow-legged. Oh, okay. I don't know. Woody look, he's sexy. He's sexy. So Woody and Monet, they out and meeting with their crew that was all on social media, drawing. So they checking them on it. Next thing you know, one of the Spanish guys called as Monet and Woody walking away. He calls her, I think, a punta. I think that's bitch in Spanish. And she turned around and was like, "What you call me?" She was like, "I want you to say that to my face." And he was about to utter it. Next thing you know, Kane beat his ass down. Like, beat him to the pulp. One of the friends tried to help, and Monet was like, "You sure about that?" And he got his little stuff together. So as they walking away, Monet telling him how he, damn, you beat the brakes off of him. He was like, "Ain't that what you wanted me to do?" She was like, "Yeah, I can count on you." That's what she need him for. He good for the muscle. He good at that shit. But he ain't good at thinking everything through. So that's why she be wanting her other son to handle those kind of situations. I mean, everybody is good at their own little thing. Everybody can't be the boss. Everybody can't be the muscle. Everybody can't be you know what I'm saying? It's just how it works. Now, y'all remember when I was telling y'all in the earlier in the video how Tariq is about to do like this tutoring app to sell to push the drugs. So he laying out the plan to Braden. Braden goofy ass. He was like, let's what do you say? Let's spend some commas. Like, I'm like, Braden, come on, you too hype. Braden is going to be the one to get Tariq all fucked up. So Tariq need Braden because he got some connections, like with the little friends and stuff on campus that they can actually, I guess push the stuff, push your word through mouth. Because once everybody get the word through mouth, get word of what's going on, eventually the shit gonna start selling itself. So Brayden did ask a good question. Well, how people going, because you do gotta still make the app legit, and you still have to offer tutoring services. So Brayden was like, well, how do you know if they're gonna want tutoring or drugs? So the premium package is like $250. That's how you know when they click on it that they actually want the drugs or whatever. So listen here. That's all you see is them raking up. Everybody got these folders, like these folders. And people that got the folders, people that's actually getting like the drugs and everything. So when Tariq look out, the whole goddamn campus got one. The shit is popping. So Brayden was trying to expand. He was like, we can do this to the whole West Coast. He was like, no, this Stansfield exclusive. That's right. Keep it there. The money gonna be rolling. It is. And he already turned a profit because he already was able to give Stern husband his cut. So Tariq ain't too happy about Davis playing around with his money with their mock trial. But Davis was like, it was an experiment, and and it proved to them that they won't be able to put Tasha on the stand. And he was like, well, y'all can put me on the stand. But they not going there with Tariq either. So, Davis was able to explain to Tariq that he's gonna they're gonna try to go after Sachs for malfeasance. And that's basically, they want him to be recused off of the case because he's too close, and he got a lot of prejudice issues, pertaining to the case. So Tariq told him straight up, listen, if y'all gonna shoot for sex, y'all better not miss. Paula is not too thrilled with Tariq because she think it's something else in the water. And my thing is, Davis, how do you think this boy, this young kid, his mom in jail, dad dead, how do you think he's able to give you this money? Paula was like, listen, he was raised by two pathological liars. You know what I'm saying? He's closed off. Something ain't sitting right. He was like, listen, well, if he was doing something shady, they probably will wire. He probably will wire us money from a shady LLC. He was like, it's really not ain't our job. It's not our business. Well, it really ain't your business. But David, you know, goddamn well, Tariq got to be doing something. This little kid coming in with all the goddamn going money. Listen, you know he got to be doing something. So now they into the judge's chamber. They trying to provide a case to the judge so to get sex taken off the case. So they arguing to the judge why sex. They were saying how he threatened Tasha and Tariq. He actually followed Tariq without a adult a present. He following, questioning him at his school without an adult present. They was talking about how, he manipulated certain things of the case and stuff like that. So the judge is going to allow it. She was like, and if she find out that this is a political motivated case for him, she's going to take him off the case. So we'll see. We will see. So Tasha paranoid as crap that somebody watching her. Well, she do know because you remember they had sent her the picture of Tariq. And they were saying, he's in business with them now. So, if stuff go wrong, they going to take him out of here. So now she's trying to figure out who watching her. She think it's the female cop. Guard. But we all know who it is from last episode. It's somebody that the Tejada playing in there. With the Tejada family playing in there or whatever like that. So they just trying to keep They just trying to keep her in check so she can keep Tariq in check. That's all that's about. And when she was talking to the prisoner, she was like, that sounded like a you problem. Because when she was telling her she was being watched, she was like, that sounded like a you problem. She got the fuck away from Tasha ass. So now, I think the gang is the TGB or TGG gang or whatever like that. Kane was telling his siblings that, they shut it down. And so Drew was like, well, if that's the case, where we going to move the product through? So right now, they don't even know that Tariq is in business, with the family right now. So Monet overheard them talking. So Monet came over and was like, listen, we in business with Tariq St. Patrick. So Kane, he was like, that daggone bookstore nigga, like what? She was like, listen, as long as it worked, we in for it. So Kane wasn't really open to the idea. So Diana suggested that someone go and find out exactly how Tariq is moving the product. So she wanted to go, but Monet was like, hell no, you was with that sneaky shit with your burn with that phone and all that little stuff. You ain't going nowhere. So she sent Drew, because Kane wanted to go too, but Drew is the, she was like, ain't nobody letting you in no goddamn Ivy school. So Drew goes up there, to keep an eye on Tariq to see what's going on. Kane had to talk to his mom. He was like, well, I thought we was a team. You not letting me in on what's going on. She was like, listen, everybody play their part. She was like, your part was what you did with that gang that he beat the boy down. That was your part. She was like, everybody, play their position. Kane ain't really feeling that shit, but you are the muscle, Kane. You the muscle. So Drew ended up going to the school. He met up with Tariq. Tariq peeped while he was there immediately. He was like, I know Monet sent you. So Drew, he ain't even try to put up a fight. He was like, yeah, I need to know how, you moving this. And as soon as I know, the sooner I can get out of here. So as they talking, Brayden walked his ass in with some ice cream. Brayden ain't gonna fuck up shit because he didn't know. He was like, who the new kid? Then he gonna sit up there and say to Tariq, is this the plug? In front of Drew. So Drew probably already peeped that part of it, that okay, somehow, some way Brayden is moving something for Tariq. But my thing is, Brayden, you didn't know who that was. Why would you be talking in front of him and saying a plug? You don't know who that is. See, I would have cut ties with him for that messy shit right there. So Tariq like, no. So they leave out Tariq had this art class. So Tariq was trying to get rid of Drew, but the Joe professor was like, oh, this space is inclusive. You're more than welcome to stay. So they branch off, to different stations, and you can see this guy looking over at Drew because they wanted them to partner up. So Drew goes over there to the guy, and you can already tell it's gonna be some some loving between them two. You can already tell. And I didn't know Drew was gay, but the way they were talking, the way Drew was looking at him, and he was telling him that he could draw, so Drew drawing. Listen, you already can see the chemistry between them two. Now we see Saxe. He in his office, he getting chewed out by somebody because he trying to figure out what's David's motive, how Davis was able to proceed with this. So as he's talking to the investigator, because he was trying to get the investigator to tell Tariq, because the thing is, he said if we can find out how Tariq is paying Davis, then they can kind of figure out another angle. And the guy was like, no, this is supposed to be on the up and up. So as they talking, now his niece comes in. Now his niece, she look Asian. I'm sorry, she look Asian. So she was busted for weed. And you could tell that Saxe probably cover up some shit for her, and she don't want her parents to know, because I guess her mom is married to another woman, because she called them both by their names. So at first Saxe was going to tell the parents and all of those stuff when he figured out he could use her. So he going to plant her. He's going to use her to find out what Tariq and them is doing, because she look, she really young, so she could fit in with the college kids or whatever like that. So that's how he going to try to get the drop on Tariq. So now they have the hearing to see if Saxe will be able to prosecute the case. So they brought in, they meaning Davis and they brought in Blanca, because she was going to try to make Saxe look like he's a dirty prosecutor. But she did have information on him, because she was like how he took the gun, the cell phone from where Terry Silver body planted in Ghost's apartment. But they was like, did you see him do it? She was like, no, I didn't see him do it. And it was like some other little things. She even brought in Tate, and how Tate story changed, under the duress of Saxe and everything like that. But what screwed her is because she was just as tainted as Saxe, because Saxe was able to prove that she knew certain things, and she still let it pursue, especially like with Andre Coleman and things, and things of that nature. So he was able to slither his way through that, because he ain't no stupid prosecutor. He a little smart. And then you see Davis, he looking like this nigga here. That's how Davis giving them the eye, like, oh my God, they all got some shit. Because the more and more he go down that rabbit hole, the more and more he see how everybody got a little dirt on them when they was trying to get Ghost in trouble. So it's going to be hard to find a real credible witness to go up against Saxe when they all was doing dirty shit just to get their target. So the judge warned Rodriguez, Blanca, that she was going to send a transcript of that to her superior, because it was some little snake stuff going on. It just was. So now that they brought Tate into it, Tate meeting with the guy from the DNC and all that, trying to get them to shut it down, but they don't want to shut it down. They want Tate to go on the stand and be able to testify, because what they don't want is, they don't want Ghost or James' name tarnished, because they, regardless if he did or what he did or not, they don't want the fact that they are the DNC. They don't want to look like they endorse a candidate that was into some kind of criminal enterprise. So they trying to shut all that shit down too. Tate, he know they got him by the balls. They like, listen, we want you to testify, point blank period. Because Tate don't even want to go on the stand at all. But they gonna make that ass go on there. And they gonna make sure he ain't talking shit about Ghost. Cause see somebody with your woman go on there saying he a notorious drug dealer, put his hands on his wife and fucking around town. No, you're not gonna say that. You're gonna say what we want you to say. Point blank period. So Tariq, he's actually getting a call from Brayton. He didn't, first of all, he's picking up the gun, because you remember Tasha had called him early in the episode, and she wanted him to get a gun, because the Tejada been sending him sending her pictures and saying that if he don't do what they want to do, if he don't do what they need him to do, they're going to harm him. So she was like, listen, you gotta get a gun. So she directed him to like one of the drop spots that his dad and Tommy used to have. So he was able to secure the gun from the laundromat. So Brayden gives him a call and was telling him about, like, listen, we need product. He was like, well, how the hell is we out of product so soon? It was supposed to be low key. He was like, listen, people want to party, and if you don't get it to them, it's basically like as good as it was that we started, we gonna close just in the nick of a time too. So Tariq, he's scrambling trying to figure out how he gonna get the product, excuse me. So, and actually when he was coming into the building, he was met by Paula, because Paula had to tell him that they subpoena Tate, and he was like, well, why? He a liar and all this other stuff. She was like, well, it would have been good to know, prior to. She was like, but you wasn't answering the phone. Tariq had spent up with some bullshit because she's saying she gave him the money back, because she was saying that they need the money to be wired. She was like, and they need everything to be on the up. If not, they're not going to be able to, defend Tasha. So he came up with some shit that he stole the money from his grandma. She the only one getting my money from his dad, and he didn't want to do it, but he had to. He had no choice because he want his mom out of jail. So she falling for the okie doke with Tariq, talking about we can help you. She was like, no, can't nobody help me. He in too deep. But Paula, he just suckered you, okay? She was on a good track because she kind of smelled he wasn't right, but then he pulled the okey doke on her ass and suckered her into it or whatever. Now he calling Sebastian to try to get Sebastian to pay him half in cash and half in a wire. And Sebastian was like, oh, okay, well, it looks like you're going to be having my 15%, because they only agreed to 5% or 3% or something like that. But now he upping the fee because Tariq needed him, because he was like, it seemed like you need me. He was like, well, yeah. So he agreed to it. And I like Sebastian. I like that character. I'm curious to see how they're gonna go with that. Drew, what I tell y'all, Drew and that guy was about to do the nasty, and I think they did finish doing the nasty, but it cut off because Tariq was blowing his phone off. They was in the room, the guy was showing him his tattoos, and next thing you know, Drew and him kissing, the boy kissing down on Drew's stomach, about to go down, and the phone rang. So Drew had to get it. He had to get the phone, and it was Tariq bugging him because he need the product or whatever. So he's a little busy right now, and so he calls home and talks to Diana, but Monet tells Diana to put the phone on speaker. So he was basically saying that he lost Tariq, but Tariq calling him needing product. He was like, he's not able to give it to him because he wants somebody to come and bring the product up there. So Diana is going to have to bring the product to the school. Oh my goodness. I did not see this shit coming with Drew and his gay storyline. So Diana did exactly what she was told to do. She took the product to Tariq. And then she's taking the product to Tariq. So she basically put the moves on him because he was asking why, he asked her why Monet had Drew, following. She was like, well, she wasn't going to send me. He was like, why? And she was like, because of this. And she gave him a kiss. And she said, well, Zeke told me that you was going to ask permission to take me out. So as they were kissing, Drew come knocking on the door. So when he gets in the room, he was like, well, what the hell was going on here? He looking, and so Diana was like, well, what was you doing? So he left that, he shut the fuck up. He shut up. So we see Sax and they back into the judge's chambers, and they talking to Tate now. Tate is one slippery, slimy motherfucker in this goddamn show. So basically, Tate painted Tasha to be this, queen pin, murdering, ruthless, person, and he painted James to be this law-abiding, upstanding citizen. And you see, David's just looking at him like this lying piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? So the judge even can't stomach him. She rolling her eyes. Tate is one slippery slope, like I said, slippery, slimy politician in this goddamn thing. He played, that was a good ass scene right there. So as he was excusing himself, because he done lied, like I said, he lied from the moment he sat down in that goddamn chair to the moment he got up. So
Davis had grabbed him by his arm and was like, he said, real low so just them two can hear it. He was like, you one lying ass nigga. And Take or say, I hope to have your support, at the polls. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that was Tay. Lorenz Tate is one multifaceted good actor. He can play a thug and he can play this fucking politician. He is great, okay? I like him in this. I really do. So anyway, we see Drew. He back at the house. He's in the shower or whatever like that. Monet comes in there and asks, did he find anything? He was like, no. Basically told him what we already know. That Tariq already, peeped that she sent him to spy on him from the beginning. He wasn't able to find out how he run his business. So she was like, well, that's a good thing because, he's being careful. So she asked where was, the money. So he told her it was in the backpack. So when she went in the backpack, she noticed that he drew that guy that he just had sex with. So she came in there. So I was under the impression that they didn't know what was going on with Drew, but apparently they do know that he's gay. Because she was saying, listen, everybody don't understand. Everybody isn't like our family, and she was like, I'm never worried about you, because she said the dad worry about you being soft and everything like that. She was like, I never worried about you. You pay close attention to detail. You smart. She was like, but I do worry about you in that life. So when she said that, I was like, oh, she know he gay. So she was like, just promise me you gonna always come home. I'm like, oh, okay. I was surprised that she would be upset, accepting of his lifestyle. But she seemed to accept it. She just don't want him to get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
So Tariq, his ass is late again. He's supposed to be meeting up with Lauren, her family, and the professors to, I guess, basically talk shop about this fellowship. So he finally gets there. They throwing a little light shade. The mom made us joke talking about, I guess that's what you call colored people time. So they were talking about how, they followed his mom, case and, things like that. So Jabari was being real messy at the goddamn on dinner in regards to Carrie, throwing shots at her. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. He was throwing shots at her and everything like that. And she came back at him because they was asking did he write another book? And she was like, yeah, it came and went. No one even realized it. And he ain't like that shit. Well, apparently we found out that she actually know Davis, so I'm assuming that she probably slept with Davis before because she is like a sex addict. So she had told Tariq, she was like, listen, every win for Davis don't necessarily mean it's a win for your, for his client, so be careful. You could, cut the tension in the room, with the knife between those two. But when they were discussing the book, the mom had, she remembered the book to be about something else. But when Tariq was able to break that shit down, she was like, oh, I guess I got to go read the book again. The way Tariq hit them, it made them, think. Tariq had a whole different spin on that shit. So the tension was getting a little thick down there. So Tariq and Lauren end up going upstairs, and they were getting into some deep conversation. He ended up opening up to her about his dad because she was telling him how her brother was trying to get every A, be on every bored and all this old stuff just to please his parents, and he ended up taking drugs and couldn't cope. Now he's in the goddamn facility, and she was like, she don't want that to be her. And he was like, well, it wouldn't be you. She was like, you see my parents. So he was saying, last conversation him and his dad had, his dad was trying to control his life, and she was like, well, how did you get him to back off? He was like, he died. So she was like, yeah, you never. She was like, you always seem so standoffish, you never open up, and things like that. Next thing you know, them two were kissing. They kissing. The doorbell ring. They goes downstairs. This other guy daggone boyfriend. Mom invited the boyfriend because she must have told him that the professors was going to be there. This old corny ass. He's so goddamn corny. Oh, my future mother-in-law. Oh, I couldn't miss this opportunity. Now he's talking to Lauren. I couldn't miss this opportunity to meet Lauren's teachers. I heard so much about them. I'm like, oh, this cornball. So he ended up saying he thought Tyreek was a goddamn underprivileged child that she helped tutor. And she was like, no, that's not it. But he looking like, well, who the hell is he? So Tyreek must have got pissed off, and Tyreek leaves. Then you see Jabari and the other professor, Carrie. Now they back into his office, whatever like that. They arguing back and forth. He was saying, you hate that you still got feelings for me. You know, she was saying how she knew he fucked his grad student. He talking about which one. Next thing you know, she shut the door. They start getting it the fuck in. I'm like, see, I don't understand that storyline with them two, because it's really unneeded. I mean, not needed, but I guess it's gonna go somewhere. So Tyreek and them is at this frat party. Sax already sick to his niece on, Tyreek, to try to find out what's going on. Sax telling her don't actually talk to him, just eye him and see how they moving in the party. She don't listen to shit. He go, Sax says she beeline for, soon as she located them, she beeline towards them. Tyreek ain't having it, but Brayton all up on it. Tyreek walks away. Brayton, got this pink fur coat on, looking like Cameron, and she already made mention to that, like, oh, okay, I see your Cameron vibes. He had a flip phone, and he was like, yeah, and it worked. I need your digits. I'm like, oh, he is so corny. Brayton is corny as fuck. So she playing along with him, trying to play him, because she already know he the weakest link, and she know he going to tell her whatever she needs to know as far as Tyreek. That's all she got to do is play with him for a little bit. That's all she got to do. So, excuse me. So, they getting to know each other a little bit. Tyreek, like I said, he already stepped off. So he basically put the bug in one of the other guys' ear that Brayton is the one who, selling. So they go spread it around. They get back to the other connect, the one that the one that was going around saying that when he find out who's doing it, he's going to kick their ass or whatever. So he approached Brayton. Him and Brayton start fighting. Brayton, he turned around putting on a show for Riley, Sax niece. But she gonna peep what's going on, because the guy before he started fighting him, he was like, what you thought I wouldn't know? It's a whole shit show. And like I said, something gonna go down between Tyreek and Brayton, because Brayton too boisterous for Tyreek, because Tyreek don't play them kind of games. Damn, this show is filled with a bunch of surprises. I didn't know Paula and Davis was fucking. So they in there sexing. We see Sebastian sending a wire transfer, so he ended up sending it to Paula. So when they was done screwing, she looked at her phone and seen that she got the wire transfer from a shady LLC. So my thing is, Paula probably was I thought she was taking the bait from Tyreek and believing what Tyreek was saying, but it's almost like she was setting the trap to see if see if he would send a wire transfer, because now she was saying that he might be worth investigating. But Davis don't really want to track that down. He was like, he's trying to go at the sex, and he was like, he got to do it where somebody is not in question of like their ethics and stuff like that. So next thing we know, they sending flowers with a subpoena to Tamika. So she's going to be the one that had to testify against Sax. And she knows some dirt on Sax. And you know what? David's a dirty dog. He cheating on his goddamn wife, because I forgot his ass was married until she told him to put his goddamn wedding ring on. I'm like, listen, these men ain't shit. So we see Tyreek, he going into the school. So before he go into the school, he seen Scott, the other connect, and asked him like, what's going on? So Scott told him like he got kicked out for so Tyreek was like, for fighting. He was like, no, for punching a Weston. So he got kicked out for fighting Brayton, because Brayton family, they money go long in their school. So that shit worked in exactly how Tyreek planned that shit to go. So he's already in class. Laura Lauren, she comes in, so she tries to avoid him and goes to the other side. So he peeping, he goes where she at, and he was like, listen. So basically, he told her like, listen, they all got, it's competition. He said he ain't shying away from no competition. He was like with the fellowship and basically in a personal situation. So then you see the text messages from Diana keep popping up. So he asked her who is Diana, and he was like, listen, like I said, we all got options. And she just smirked. So, that's kind of cute between them two, but that shit gonna get him in trouble messing with them two women. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's gonna get him right in fucking trouble. They always do. So now you see Tasha, she's in the cell doing her little push-ups. So she get the picture from when Drew took a picture of Tyreek when he was in art class. So basically they let her know that they still got tabs on Tyreek to keep, so she can keep Tyreek in line. So she all freaking out. But if she probably was to explain it to Tyreek probably didn't know exactly where that shit coming from. Anyway, you see Sax, he got the message from his niece that, she showed them a picture from Tyreek. Tyreek looking, is it me or is that how it was portrayed on screen? It looked like Tyreek's mimicking Ghost, like how he was in Truth standing over the balcony. You know how he just stands over the crowd? That's how Tyreek looked over there. I'm standing on top of the crowd, over top of the crowd at the party. I'm like, Tyreek is the new Ghost. I guess that's why it's, I don't know. That's all I have for you guys today. If you guys like the content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to holler at your girl.